What is up, guys? It's Will from the Duelists, bringing you a brand new Legacy deck tournament matchup, and for this week it is Red Eyes Black Dragon versus the Bandit Keith deck. So I'm going to be doing it a little bit different this week, based off suggestions that we've been getting for a lot of people. And so for one, side decking was brought up, and that will be starting to be permitted. Starting as of next week. The only reason that they're not being permitted because of this week is because we already did the Red Eyes Bandit Keith duels before the side decking thing got suggested, and so we will start those at the start of the week 4, I guess, so to speak. And it has been determined by popular demand that God card deck versus Magnet Warriors will be the Week 4 matchup. That one was one that people have been heavily suggesting. Dark Magician and Mako Tsunami was also getting a lot of hype, but God Card deck versus Magnet Warriors will be competing next week. But for this week, and for prior weeks, remember for the first ever matchup, we had Blue Eyes versus Blackluster Soldier. Blue Eyes took that in a best of 5, 3-2. And then last week we had Toons versus Harpies, with Harpies taking it 3-1. And this week we have Red Eyes versus Bandit Keith. And the thing that we're going to be doing differently this week is that a lot of people suggested that we post deck profiles of our decks. And so what I'll be doing is I'm going to be going into each deck prior to the actual replays of the matches, explaining like card selection, stuff like that, each one's strong point, each one's weak point, kind of a way to like hype up each deck. That way people like get an idea of like what they're seeing before they go into the actual match. But if that's not you and you just want to go see the replays, feel free to scroll down the comment section. I had pinned a comment with basically a time marker for you guys to go and see the replays. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and starting with the deck profiles, and then we will get into the matches. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the Bandit Keith theme-based deck. Now, like I said, we'd like to try to make the most competitive versions of these legacy decks possible. And unfortunately, Bandit Keith only has like 4 cards out right now. And then the fourth one I think is a trap card that's just complete utter garbage. So it does utilize the B4 Bomber Spider, it does utilize Desperado Barrel Dragon, and it does utilize Heavy Metal Raiders. But when it came to also making a complete 40 card deck out of 4 cards, essentially what I had to do is basically combine cards that worked with the other ones. And so what I felt would be a good way would be doing is, since a lot of it's based off Dark Machines and destroying stuff like that, I felt integrating some Cosmo techs in there would be working, because they are Dark Machines. And a lot of these cards are made to like destroy your own cards, and by doing so you can destroy your opponents. But the good thing about the Cosmo monsters is that when they're destroyed, they float. So you basically get to take out one of your opponent's cards and you stay card neutral while they neg. So the only way is that like the 2 monsters that really make this deck work are Cosmo Wicked Witch and B4 Bomber Spider, which are only like 6 of your 40 cards. So I had to throw in 3 Summoner Monk to get to these guys. And then the 2 field spells, the Heavy Metal Raiders. Heavy Metal Raiders is very, very combo. It's needed, because basically when you're when you destroy one of your opponent's cards using one of the effects of like B4 Bomber Spider, Desperado Barrel Dragon, or like Dark Destroyer, you get to special summon one from your hand, so you can have your Cosmo ships in your hand to like special summon. And then there's also a couple of other interesting tech choices, such as like Reasoning and Raigeki and Limiter Removal and stuff like that. Yeah, it was an interesting deck for sure. And the fact that Dogfighter special summons tokens is also very useful, because it goes into a lot of links, like easy. So, in contrast, the Bandit Keith deck is going up against the Red Eyes Black Dragon deck. Oh goodness. The Red Eyes Black Dragon deck, which is right here, and this was actually hand created by me too. And it's not your conventional build. I like to make combo-based decks, and you can actually make a pretty decent combo-based deck out of Red Eyes by combining it with Destrudo, Hieratics, and like Glow Bulb and stuff like that to go into Crystron Neofiber. So essentially, what this deck does is that rather than relying on back row and just relying on like heavy, beefy monsters, it would rather go into a lot of its extra deck monsters, and you could actually do that pretty well in Red Eyes with Red Eyes Fusion, Return of the Red Eyes, and Meteor Black Comet Dragon, as you'll see in the replays, because the fact that Meteor Black Comet Dragon floats when he goes to the graveyard, regardless of how he's sent there, is very useful, because when you fusion summon him, you can basically send like up to 3 dragons to the graveyard just to do so. And then you can bring them all back with this, and then by using Labradorite Dragon and Glow Up Bulb and Destrudo, you can go into Crystal Needle Fiber pretty easily, and it can really open up plays. Like, you can make a Flare Metal and Crystal Wing in 1 turn with this deck very, very easily, which I like as opposed to the other ones. But there are probably a lot of other combos that I have not yet discovered or thought about yet. It's a very cerebral version of Red Eyes, I would say. It's very, very complicated. I probably misplayed a couple of times when I was using it in the duels, but it's a very, very fun deck, so to speak. But its strengths are going into those extra deck monsters such as Crystal Wing and Ancient Fairy Dragon, which is actually very useful against the Bandit Keith deck, since the Bandit Keith deck is very reliant on their field spell. But so those are the 2 deck profiles, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the duels, and then feel free to leave comments and suggestions on ways we can improve the deck, or maybe alter the deck for next time. Thanks, and enjoy the duels. Alright, and that concludes the Week 3 matchup between Red Eyes and Bandit Keith, with Red Eyes actually taking this one 3-2. I'm sure that it was probably a shocker to a lot of people, considering that Red Eyes has so many consistency problems. But yeah, so it looks like on the left-hand side, these matchups are turning out to be pretty cool. Blue Eyes versus Harpies should be an interesting matchup. Red Eyes will be taking on the winner of the Rex Raptor Dinos and Celtic Guardian. And then on the right hand side, we have yet to play any of those matches, but the one that was heavily suggested and that one that people have been very, very much requesting has been the God Card deck versus the Magnet Warriors. So if you're new to this one, you'd like to continue seeing these Legacy Tournament matchups, feel free to like and subscribe, and we will continue to be posting them. And then feel free to also give comment suggestions on ways we can improve everything. Like I said, this has changed a lot since we've done the whole Blackluster Soldier Blue Eyes matchup, and we really appreciate the support that everyone gives, and we also sincerely take any kind of comment suggestions. So hopefully you guys enjoy the duels, and we will see you next week on the next one when we have God Cards taking on the Magnet Warriors. Thank you all sincerely so much, and have a good day.